and minute by minute. By changing your mental images, you change the way you think, feel, and act. You change the way that you treat other people and the way they respond to you. You change your performance and your results. You can actually remake yourself in the image of the very best person that you can imagine yourself becoming. This is all part of the constructive use of visualization. In professional athletics, there is a training method called mental rehearsal. Top athletes in every field mentally rehearse their events before they go into active competition. They see themselves performing at their best prior to every event. For many days and hours prior to a major competition, they practice visualizing themselves performing successfully over and over again. They will continuously recall their personal bests in previous competition and replay this personal best like a movie of the mind in their own mental screening room. They will see themselves doing well over and over. They will create and enjoy the emotions of joy and satisfaction that accompany peak performance. They will become excited and happy about doing so well in the upcoming competition. And when the competition begins, as far as they are concerned, they've already won. There are 4 parts of visualization that you can learn and practice to assure that you use this incredible power to its best advantage all the days of your life. The first aspect of visualization is frequency. Frequency refers to the number of times that you visualize a particular goal as achieved, or yourself performing in an excellent way in a particular event or circumstance. The more frequently you repeat a clear mental picture of your very best performance or result, the more rapidly it will be accepted by your subconscious mind, and the more rapidly it will appear as part of your reality. The second element of visualization is the duration of the mental image. Duration refers to the length of time that you can hold the picture in your mind each time you replay it. When you deeply relax, you can often hold a mental picture of yourself performing at your best for several seconds, and even several minutes. The longer you can hold your mental picture, the more deeply it will be impressed into your subconscious mind, and the more rapidly it will express itself in your subsequent performance or behavior. The third element of visualization is vividness. There is a direct relationship between how clearly you can see your desired goal or result in your mind and how quickly it comes into your reality. This element of visualization is what explains the powers of the law of attraction and the law of correspondence. The vividness of your desire directly determines how quickly it materializes in the world around you. Here's an interesting point. When you set a new goal for yourself, your image or picture of this goal will usually be vague and fuzzy. You may have no idea at all what the successful goal will look like. But the more often you write it, review it, and repeat it mentally, the clearer it becomes for you. At a certain point, it will become crystal clear. At that point, the goal will suddenly appear in your world exactly as you imagined it. The fourth element of visualization is intensity. The intensity of a visualization refers to the amount of emotion that you attach to your visual image. In reality, this is the most important and powerful part of the visualization process. Sometimes, if your emotion is intense enough and your visual image is clear enough, your goal will immediately come true. Of course, the elements of frequency, duration, vividness, and intensity can help you or hurt you. Nature is neutral. The power of visualization is neutral as well. It's like a two-edged sword. It can cut in either direction. It can either make you a success or make you a failure. Visualization brings you whatever you vividly and intensively imagine, whether good or bad. For example, worry is a form of negative goal setting. It is the process of thinking about, imagining, and visualizing, combined with feelings of fear and anxiety, exactly those things that you don't want to happen. But because visualization is neutral, When you worry, you are using this power in a negative way. Exactly those things that you don't want will be attracted into your life. In the book of Job, he says, "That which I greatly feared has come upon me." This refers to the unhappy consequences of negative visualization. You must be very careful how you use this visualizing power in your life. Most people want to be physically fit and trim. Psychologists will tell you that this is only possible when you think thin. One way you can create this mental image of thinness is to take the picture of a person who has the kind of body you would like to have, cut off the head, and put your own photo there instead. Put this picture on your refrigerator. Make multiple copies of this picture if you can, and put them all over your house. Every time you look at a picture of yourself with a beautiful body, your subconscious mind will register it once again. Eventually, you will find yourself eating less and exercising more. Your outer reality will soon correspond to your inner picture. Often, single people ask me how they can find their soulmate. I ask them if they have made up a list and created a picture of what their soulmate will look like. They're always surprised and sometimes insulted. They say, "Well, I'll know the person when I meet them." But that's not the way it works. Casualness brings casualties. If you don't have a clear idea of what you want, you end up getting something else. I advise them to sit down and write out a complete description of the ideal person that they would like to meet. Write down every single quality and characteristic that they would like their soulmate to have. Be clear about age, temperament, personality, interest, values, background, sense of humor, level of ambition, and so on. It is absolutely amazing what happens. A good friend of mine, a graduate of one of my 3-day seminars, did this immediately after the program. 10 months later, he met the ideal person who fit his written description perfectly. They got married shortly thereafter, had 2 beautiful children, and have been happy from the first moment they met. If you're single, you should give this technique a try. You might be happily surprised at what happens. In every area of your life, you can use visualization to make it better. Earlier in this book, I talked about the use of idealization. This process involves creating an ideal picture of what you would like your life to look like sometime in the future. Idealizing is just another version of visualizing. Remember, you can't hit a target that you can't see. But if you are absolutely clear about what you want, you will eventually achieve it sooner or later. As with goal setting, the 2 best times to visualize are late in the evening and early in the morning. When you visualize your goals as if they already existed before you go to sleep, your subconscious mind accepts them at a deeper and deeper level. It then adjusts your words and actions during the day so that you do and say more and more of those things that will make your goals into realities. Another time to visualize is first thing in the morning before you start out. Clear mental images of what you want to accomplish during the day will make it far more likely that you achieve those results exactly as you imagined and on schedule. To repeat, all improvement in your life starts with an improvement in your mental pictures. Start today to flood your mind with pictures of the person you want to be, the life you want to live, and the goals you want to achieve. Cut out pictures from magazines and newspapers that are consistent with your goals and desires. Post them everywhere. Review them regularly. Discuss them often. Imagine them continually. Make your life an ongoing process of positive visualization, continually imagining and visioneering your ideal goals and your perfect future. This can do more to help you to step on the accelerator of your own potential than any other exercise you engage in. Now, here are 3 things you can do immediately to put these ideas into action. First, project forward and imagine that your life was perfect in every respect. What would it look like? Whatever your answer, imagine this picture regularly. Second, cut out pictures of the things you would like to have and the person you would like to be in the future. Look at these pictures and think about what you could do to make them into realities. Third, practice mental rehearsal before every event of importance. See yourself in your mind's eye as performing at your very best in everything you do or attempt. Imagine that you have just moved into a new house, and the previous owner, just before leaving, took you aside privately. He explained that there was a special room in the basement that contained a most amazing computer. You could program any goal or question into that computer, and it would give you exactly the right answer for you at exactly the right time. It was absolutely infallible. It worked every single time, and every answer would turn out to be perfectly correct. Imagine what an incredible difference this could make in your life if you owned such a computer. The fact is that you do have such a computer. It is available and accessible to you at any time. It is called your superconscious mind. It is the most powerful faculty ever discovered in all of human history, and you can tap into it any time you want. I have repeated that you become what you think about most of the time. I also said that whatever you can hold in your mind on a continuing basis, you can have. In addition, we discussed the laws of attraction and correspondence, and the importance of absolute clarity in determining exactly what you want to be, have, and do. In every case, I was referring indirectly to the power of the superconscious mind. The superconscious mind has been known about and discussed for thousands of years throughout all of human history. For most of this time, it was the secret knowledge of the mystics and sages. Access to it was guarded and only taught after many years of loyal study to the devotees of the mystery schools of the ancient world. Only in the last 100 years has the knowledge of the superconscious mind become more generally available, and then only to a few people. Sigmund Freud, the founder of psychotherapy, wrote about the three minds, the ego, the id, and the superego, in 1895, and based much of his work upon these three different elements of perception. The ego was described as the I am. It is the part of the mind that is alert and aware, that deals with the external world, that analyzes, decides, and takes action. We call this the conscious mind. The id of Sigmund Freud is the unconscious part of the mind, or what we call the subconscious mind. This is the vast storehouse of memories and feelings where all of our previous thoughts, decisions, and experiences are gathered, and which functions automatically, both to operate our physical bodies and to keep our thoughts and feelings consistent with our past experiences. What Sigmund Freud called the superego, the third dimension of thought, was referred to as the oversoul by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Alfred Adler, a student of Freud, referred to it as the collective unconscious, and Carl Jung, who broke away from Freud, called it the supraconscious. Napoleon Hill referred to it as infinite intelligence, and reported that virtually all of the most successful people in America had used it continually throughout their careers and credited it with their most important breakthroughs and accomplishments. No matter what you call it, it is a great universal power that you can access at any time to achieve any goal that you really want, as long as you desire it intensely, long enough and hard enough. All important breakthroughs in all fields throughout history have been the result of superconscious functioning. Whenever you have suddenly originated a great idea or insight that solved a problem or resolved a dilemma, you have had a superconscious experience. Great scientific breakthroughs like the discovery of DNA, or the breakthrough idea combining ceramics with electricity that led to the discovery of superconductivity, were superconscious in origin. The great musicians tapped into and used their superconscious minds repeatedly in the creation of their compositions. Mozart could see an entire opera in his mind note perfect before he began writing. He would then transcribe the opera from his mental picture without a single mistake the very first time. It could then be played in public without revision. Nothing like this had ever been seen or experienced in all the history of music. Beethoven created his greatest compositions after he went deaf. He could see and hear them in his mind before writing them down on paper. Stephen Hawking, the physicist, was so crippled with Lou Gehrig's disease that he needs a special computer to produce one letter at a time. Nonetheless, by using his superconscious mind, he's become one of the best-selling authors in the world with his book, A Brief History of Time. Whenever you see a great and inspiring work of art, read a piece of classic literature or a beautiful poem, hear an extraordinary piece of music, or see a remarkable building or construction, you are witnessing the result of the superconscious in action. The law of superconscious activity, perhaps the most important mental law ever discovered, is this: any thought, plan, goal, or idea held continuously in the conscious mind must inevitably be brought into reality by the superconscious mind. Just think, anything that you really want to be, have, or do is possible for you. If you can be absolutely clear about what it is and then access your superconscious mind on a regular basis, you will eventually achieve it. The only limits on what your superconscious mind can do for you are the limits that you place on your own mind and imagination. Your superconscious mind operates best when you are in a mental state of calm, confident, relaxed expectation. Whenever you practice relaxation and solitude, completely letting go of your cares and sit quietly or commune with nature, your superconscious mind begins to function. Whenever you go into the silence and listen to the still, small voice within you, you begin to hear the whisperings of your superconscious mind. Your intuition is the equivalent of that supercomputer in the basement of your new home. This is your connection and your contact with the superconscious mind. Sometimes your intuition will speak to you so loudly in the silence that the idea or insight it brings will change your entire life. The Greek scientist Archimedes had a superconscious flash of inspiration about the displacement of objects while sitting in his bath. He became so excited that he leaped from the bath and ran naked through the streets of Athens, shouting, "Eureka, Eureka," which means, "I have found it" in Greek. This is how you often feel when you have a great idea or insight that solves a problem or moves you towards your goal. Your superconscious mind is stimulated by clear, written, specific goals, intensely desired, visualized regularly, and constantly worked towards. Whenever you relax, visualize, and emotionalize a specific result that you intensely desire, you stimulate your superconscious mind into giving you ideas and energy for goal attainment. Sometimes a superconscious inspiration can so energize and excite you that you'll be unable to sleep or think about anything else. In that case, you should sit down and write out every idea and detail that comes to you. This will often cleanse your mind and enable you to go back to sleep. The superconscious mind explains two phenomena that you experience regularly throughout your life: serendipity and synchronicity. The more you use your superconscious mind, the more often you will enjoy these two wonderful experiences. Serendipity is the process of making happy discoveries along the road of life. Whenever you have a clear goal that you visualize continually and that you are working toward each day, happy, unexpected events and experiences seem to occur in your life, each of which seems to help you to achieve your goals even faster. You might come across an article in a magazine, or someone mentions something to you that you didn't know before. You might even flip to a program on television that has exactly the idea or insight you need to solve a particular problem or answer a key question. You will often have a setback or temporary failure that turns out to be exactly the right thing to happen to you at that time. The interesting point is that if you look for something good in every situation, you will always seem to find it. The very attitude of expecting good things to happen to you seems to trigger their occurrence over and over again. If you calmly and confidently believe in the magic of serendipity, no matter what happens, you will have repeated serendipitous experiences that will help you to achieve your real goals in life. The second phenomenon that you will experience regularly is called synchronicity. Now, this is different from the law of cause and effect, the iron law of the universe, in a special way. The law of cause and effect says that everything happens for a specific reason, and that there is a traceable cause for every effect. With synchronicity, however, the only relationship between two events that occur simultaneously is the meaning that you give to these events by the goals that you have in different areas of your life. Here's an example. You set a goal to double your income, but the following week you either quit or get fired completely unexpectedly. This initially looks like a real setback, but the next day in conversation, a friend asks you if you've ever thought of working in a particular field. As it happens, you had read several articles about that field over the past year, and you thought about getting into it, but you didn't know how to go about it. You decide to investigate further, identify a growing company, interview for a job, start work, and 1 year later you find yourself earning twice as much as you were at your previous job and enjoying it more. You will notice that there was no direct cause and effect relationship between these separate events. They seemed to be disconnected in time and space, but they had one thing in common. They helped you to achieve the real goal that you had set for yourself, which was to double your income. There are two ways for you to stimulate your superconscious mind into action. The first is for you to concentrate and work intensely on achieving your goal. Throw your whole heart into what you are doing. Think about it, talk about it, write it down, rewrite it, and review it every single day. Do everything that you can possibly think of that can help you to attain that goal. When you dedicate yourself to continuous, determined forward action toward the accomplishment of your goal, all sorts of serendipitous and synchronous events will happen to you and for you. People will emerge from unexpected places to help you. You will receive phone calls and offers of assistance. You will come across ideas and information that you would not have recognized before. You will have ideas and insights that move you even faster toward your goal. The second way to stimulate your superconscious mind is to relax completely and get your mind busy elsewhere. For example, when you go on vacation, you often become so busy doing other things that you don't think about your goals or problems at all. It seems that the more you can completely relax and let go, both mentally and physically, the more rapidly your superconscious mind will click into action and begin giving you the ideas and insights that you need. Sometimes it seems that the harder that you don't try, the faster your superconscious mind will work for you. You should try both methods on every goal. First, work with single-minded concentration on the goal. Commit 100% of your energies to solving the problem. Then, if you have still not experienced the breakthrough you desire, get your mind busy elsewhere. Take some time off. Go on vacation. Engage in physical exercise or go to a movie. Forget about it completely for a while. Then, at exactly the right time, your superconscious mind will function and the answer will appear. Your superconscious mind will bring you the exact answer that you need at exactly the right time for you. Therefore, when you receive a superconscious inspiration, you should take action immediately. Don't delay. This is often time-dated information. If you get an inner urge to take an action or make a phone call, move on it quickly. If you have a hunch about something, follow up on it. It seems that the very act of moving on a superconscious flash will trigger additional superconscious insights and inspirations that will help you. A superconscious idea or solution has three qualities. First, it will answer every aspect of the problem or give you everything you need to achieve your goal. The answer will be complete in every respect. Second, a superconscious solution will be a blinding flash of the obvious. A superconscious inspiration will feel natural, easy, and perfectly suitable to the situation. And third, a superconscious solution will give you a burst of happiness and excitement, even exhilaration. It'll be one of those shining moments that you remember for a long time. Whenever you get a superconscious solution, it will come accompanied by the energy, enthusiasm, and motivation you need to take action immediately. You'll have an irresistible desire to implement the solution right now. You'll want to stop everything else you are doing to take action. And you'll always be right. Your superconscious mind is the most powerful faculty you have. It is available and accessible to you at all times. You dial into your superconscious mind by being absolutely clear about what you want, and then by calmly and confidently trusting that exactly the answer you need will come to you at exactly the time that you are ready for it. The more you relax and trust in this great power, the better and faster it will function. It's been said that men and women begin to become great when they begin to listen to their inner voices. When you make a regular habit of listening to your intuition and trusting your inner voice, you'll probably never make another mistake. By tapping into your superconscious mind, you begin to bring your whole life into harmony with this great universal power. You will achieve goal after goal and move forward faster and faster in everything you do. You will feel as though you are plugged into some kind of cosmic energy source that enables you to accomplish vastly more and with much less effort than ever before. Think back over your life and recall the times when your superconscious mind has worked for you. In the past, these experiences were random and haphazard. But by developing absolute clarity about your goals and by reviewing and visualizing them regularly, you can make this superconscious power work for you consistently and predictably all the days of your life. Now, here are 3 things you can do immediately to put these ideas into action. First, select your most important goal, your major definite purpose, and visualize it clearly over and over with complete confidence that it will materialize at exactly the right time for you. Second, begin the daily practice of solitude and meditation. During this time, just let your mind relax and float from subject to subject until exactly the right answer to the right question pops into your mind. And third, make it a practice to take action on a superconscious idea as soon as it comes into your mind. Don't hesitate. Have complete faith that only the best can happen when you trust in this power. It is in the nature of things that some people will be more successful and happier than others. Some people will make more money, have better lives, enjoy greater fulfillment and satisfaction, have happier relationships, and contribute more to their communities. Others will not. The Manager Institute of Kansas City conducted a study not long ago to determine what qualities would be most important for success and happiness in the 21st century. They concluded, after extensive research, that the most important single quality that you can develop in a time of rapid change is the quality of flexibility. The opposite of flexibility is rigidity. The opposite of flexible thinking is fixed or mechanical thinking. The opposite of approaching life with an open mind is to react automatically and predictably in every situation. The opposite of flexibility is an unwillingness to change in the face of new information or circumstances. The quality of flexibility is therefore essential if you want to be, do, and have more than the average person. Today, perhaps the most important factor affecting your life is the speed of change. We're living in an age where change is taking place at a faster rate than ever before in human history. And if anything, the rate of change is increasing year by year. Change today is not only faster, but it is also discontinuous. Not following a straight line, but starting, stopping, and going off in unpredictable directions. Change is coming at us from all sides and in so many different ways that it is often impossible to anticipate what might happen next. By its very nature, change is unpredictable, often forcing us to scrap our very best plans and ideas overnight as a result of a completely new and unexpected development coming from a new and unexpected direction. As a result, we have to remain flexible in our thinking and in our possible courses of action. Change causes enormous stress for people who are fixed or rigid in their beliefs about how things should be. They fall in love with what they're doing, with their current methods and processes, and are unwilling to change even in the face of overwhelming evidence. Don't let this happen to you. The only real question you should be asking about what you are doing is, does it work? Is it achieving the end results desired? Based on the current situation, is this the best course of action? The only measure of the rightness or wrongness of a particular decision or course of action is its effectiveness in accomplishing the result desired or achieving the goal that you have set. Keep asking, does it work? Or is it working? There are three factors driving change today, each of them multiplying times each other to increase the speed of change. The first change factor is the explosion of information and knowledge in every area of our lives. One new discovery or piece of information in a competitive marketplace can change the dynamics of your business overnight. A popular product or service or major industry can be rendered obsolete by a new product or service that achieves the same result faster, better, cheaper, or easier than something else. A critical news event such as 9/11, a market shock such as that caused by Wall Street revelations, a scandal in a political party or industry, can transform the thinking, actions, sales, and situation of an entire business or industry overnight. For example, in 1989, when the Soviet Union dissolved, the Iron Curtain came down and the Cold War ended. The defense industry across America was severely shaken. Hundreds of thousands of highly trained and skilled men and women were laid off permanently. Entire industries were shut down and certain parts of the country were thrown into recession. The effects of change were overwhelming and unavoidable. Only the flexible were able to react and respond effectively. To remain flexible, you must be constantly open, alert to new ideas and information and knowledge that can help you or hurt you in your business or in the achievement of your goals. One new idea can be enough to make or lose you a fortune. One idea can start you on the road to riches or knock you off it. One piece of information at the right time can save you enormous amounts of time, trouble, and money. Lack of that information can cost you a fortune. All leaders are readers. It is absolutely essential that you keep current in your field. Read the magazines and publications put out by your industry. Read the best-selling books in your field. Attend seminars and conferences. Join your industry associations and network with other people in your business. The power is always on the side of the person with the best and most current information. The second factor driving change is the rapid growth and development of new technology. Every new piece of scientific or technical knowledge leads to an advance in technology aimed at helping people and companies get things done faster, better, cheaper, or easier. And the speed of technological change is increasing every day. The rule is that whatever works is already obsolete. A new piece of high-tech equipment put on the shelf is obsolete before it is unpacked. New technology today has a shelf life of 6 months before it is replaced by something that will do the job faster and cheaper. If you're not looking for ways to replace your product or service with something better, you can be assured that your competitors are staying up late at night looking for ways to do you one better and put you out of business. Being in business today is like playing in an endless game of leapfrog. You look for a way to leapfrog your competitor and serve your customers better, faster, and cheaper. Your competitor then leapfrogs over you with a newer or better product or service. You quickly regroup and leap over your competitor with a new innovation or improvement. Your competitor then leaps over you, and the game goes on without end. The same principle of accelerating obsolescence applies to your products, your services, your processes, and especially to your sales and marketing strategies. It applies to your current advertising and methods of promotion. Whatever works will soon stop working. Either customers will become bored with it, your competitors will copy it, or it will no longer attract customers in the current marketplace. Not long ago, I hired an advertising agency and paid them $10,000 to develop an ad for me, which I then ran in a national newspaper. It was a powerful ad and drew a lot of good responses. We were walking around the office patting each other on the back until the following week, when a competitor came out with the identical ad that we had paid to have created, but his ad was aimed at selling his product rather than ours. Our response rate dropped by 50% and continued to fall, and there was very little that we could do. You must be continually developing backup plans for every aspect of your business, knowing without doubt that whatever you are doing, it will soon stop working and it will have to be replaced by something else that does. We spoke earlier about the comfort zone and how both individuals and organizations often fall into it and keep on doing the same things over and over, whether they are working or not. Sometimes the greatest danger to your long-term success can be short-term success. Success in any area can quickly breed complacency and a reluctance to change in response to the new realities of the marketplace. Don't let this happen to you. The third element driving change and requiring greater flexibility is competition. Your competitors, local, national, and international, are more determined and creative today than they have ever been before. They are constantly looking for ways to take your customers away, steal your sales, reduce your cash flow, and, if possible, put you out of business. Your competitors are aggressively selling their products and services, using every argument and advantage they can possibly develop to undermine your position in the marketplace. Your competitors are aggressively using new information and technology to render you obsolete and to gain a competitive advantage. Today, there are more companies, products, services, and salespeople than there are customers or buyers for them. The competition is becoming tougher and more intense. If you want to survive and thrive in this market, you must become even more focused and determined yourself. Above all, you must be flexible. Earlier, I talked about the importance of zero-based thinking in examining every part of your life and activities today. Zero-based thinking is a vital tool in remaining flexible as well. Continually ask, is there anything that I am doing today that, knowing what I now know, I wouldn't get into again today if I had to do it over? Look at every part of your life and business. Whenever you experience stress, resistance, or lack of success, ask the zero-based thinking question. And if there is something that you would not start up again today, make plans immediately to get out of it and to channel your resources and energies where you can get better results. Don't let your ego cloud your judgment or your common sense. Be more concerned with what's right rather than who's right. You must be open to the fact that most of your decisions will turn out to be wrong in the fullness of time. Be prepared to be flexible, especially in the face of new information, new technology, or competition. There are 3 magic statements that you can learn to say over and over to remain flexible in turbulent times. Here they are. The first is, I was wrong. Most people would rather bluff, bluster, and deny rather than to admit that they were wrong. What makes the refusal to admit that you are wrong even worse is when everyone around you already knows that you are wrong. You are the only one who's fooling anyone, and that one person you are attempting to fool is yourself. When you realize that you are wrong, the smartest thing you can do is to admit it quickly, solve the problem, and get on with achieving the goal or result. It's been estimated that as much as 80% of the time and energy of the key people in large companies and organizations is devoted to covering up the fact that they are wrong, and they don't want to admit it. Many companies, small and large, have gone bankrupt because of a refusal or failure to admit an obvious mistake. The second statement that you must learn to say to remain flexible is, I made a mistake. It's amazing how much time, energy, and money is wasted because someone's ego is so large and sensitive that they will not admit that they have made a mistake, even one that is obvious to everyone around them. Once you say, I was wrong, or I made a mistake, the issue is largely over. From then on, everybody can get on with resolving the problem or achieving the goal. But as long as a key person is unwilling to admit that he or she has taken the wrong course, everything comes to a stop. We've seen this repeatedly in national politics, where the failure of a single person to admit a mistake or blunder has led to a tremendous waste of time and energy for everyone involved, and often for the whole nation. The third statement you should learn to say quickly and easily is, "I changed my mind." If you get new information that contradicts the information upon which you made a previous decision, be prepared to admit candidly that, "I changed my mind." It is not a weakness or a character flaw to be wrong, to make a mistake, or to change your mind. In fact, in a time of rapid change in the areas of knowledge, technology, and competition, it is a mark of courage, character, and flexibility to be willing to cut your losses quickly and practice the reality principle in everything you do. What's the reality? Be willing to deal with the world as it is rather than the way you wish it were or the way that it might have been in the past. Face the truth, whatever it is. Be honest with yourself and everyone around you. Always be open to reevaluating your goals and objectives in the light of new information, technology, or competition. Based on what you now know, is this the best course of action? If it isn't, what else should you do? What else could you do? If it's a goal and the circumstances under which you made the goal have changed dramatically, be sure that you still want it badly enough to struggle and sacrifice for it. Be willing to drop it and set a new goal if you changed your mind, or if the goal is no longer as important to you today as it once was. In a time of rapid change, resolve to be the first to recognize and embrace change when it occurs. Expect it as part of the normal and natural course of events. Refuse to be surprised or upset when things don't work out the way you thought they would or should. Especially, be flexible with the important people in your life, your family, your friends, your co-workers, and your customers. Be open to differing points of view and different ideas. Be continually willing to admit that you could be wrong, because you often are. One of the characteristics of the best leaders is that they are good listeners. They ask a lot of questions, and they take in all the information possible before making up their minds or coming to a final conclusion. They also admit failure and cut their losses quickly when they make a mistake so that they can move on to bigger and better things. There's another aspect of flexibility that you should bear in mind for the rest of your life and career. Buckminster Fuller, the scientist and philosopher, called it the theory of precession, which does not appear in any dictionary or encyclopedia. Dr. Robert Ronstadt of Babson College called it the corridor principle. Napoleon Hill referred to this finding by the most successful people in America by saying that within every setback or obstacle there lies the seed of an equal or greater opportunity or benefit. What this means is that when you set a new goal for yourself, you will have a general idea of the steps you should take and the direction you should pursue. But, almost inevitably, as you start off, you will run into unexpected roadblocks that make it impossible to continue in that direction. However, by some miracle, just as you reach a wall, another door of opportunity will open along the corridor to success. This may happen several times with several false starts. In almost every case, you will achieve your greatest success in an area very different from what you initially thought when you started out. You will achieve your greatest business and personal successes doing things that are very different from what you had initially planned. The key is to remain flexible. Here's the most important rule of flexibility. Be clear about your goal, but be flexible about the process of achieving it. Always be open to the influence of your superconscious mind. Remain sensitive to the possibility of serendipitous and synchronous events. Be open to ideas, inspirations, and inputs from other people. In the New Testament, Jesus said, "You must become like a little child if you would enter into the kingdom of heaven." One interpretation of these words is that you must remain open-minded, flexible, calm, confident, and curious if you want to be able to recognize new opportunities and possibilities as they open up around you on your journey toward your goal. Resolve to remain flexible and open no matter what happens. Remember, there's almost always a better way to accomplish any task or to achieve any goal. Your aim should be to be alert and aware to what it might be, to find it, and then to take action in that new direction as quickly as possible. This will ensure that you inevitably reach your goal, sometimes in the most unexpected and surprising ways. Now, here are 3 things you can do immediately to put these ideas into action. First, regularly ask yourself the question, what do I really want to do with my life? And then, make sure that your current goals and activities are in harmony with your answer. Second, be completely honest and realistic with your life and goals. Resolve to see the world as it is, not as you wish it were or could be. What changes does this practice suggest? Third, be willing to admit in each area of your life where you experience stress or resistance that you could be wrong or that you've made a mistake. Resolve today to cut your losses wherever possible. Tony Buzan is a brain expert. He's the past president of the Mensa Society, an organization only open to people who score in the top 2% on standardized IQ tests, and an author of several books on creativity, learning, and intelligence. According to him, and to many other authorities in the field, the mental potential of the average person is largely untapped and virtually unlimited. Your neocortex, your thinking brain, has approximately 100 billion cells or neurons. Each of these cells bristles like a porcupine with as many as 20,000 ganglia or fibers that connect it to other brain cells. Each of these cells is in turn connected and interconnected to thousands and millions of other cells, like an electric grid that lights up and powers a large city. Each of these cells and each connection between these cells contains an element of mental energy or information that is available to every other cell. This means that the complexity of your brain is beyond belief or imagination. According to Tony Buzan and other brain experts, the number of combinations and permutations of brain connections that you have is greater than the number of molecules in the known universe. It would be the equivalent of the number 1 followed by 8 pages of zeros, row after row and page after page. As mentioned earlier, the average person uses about 1% or 2% of their brain capacity for 100% of their functioning in life and work. The rest is reserve capacity that is seldom tapped into or used for any reason. Most people go to their graves with their music still in them. You don't need to achieve a miracle to bring about spectacular results in your life. You only need to use a little more of your existing brain power than you are using today. This small improvement in your thinking ability can change your life so profoundly that both you and others will be astonished by what you accomplish in the months and years ahead. According to research conducted by Professor Sergei Yefremov in Russia some years ago, he concluded that if you could use just 50% of your existing mental capacity, you could complete the PhD requirements of a dozen universities, learn a dozen languages with ease, and memorize the entire 22 volumes of the Encyclopedia Britannica. If you're currently using only 2% of your mental potential, and you could increase that to 4%, you could double your income, shoot ahead in your profession, rise to the top of your field, and transform your life. If you could use 5% or 6% or 7% of your potential, you would begin performing at a level that would amaze yourself and everyone around you. It was estimated that even Albert Einstein never used more than 10% to 15% of his mental potential at the height of his powers, and he was considered to be one of the greatest geniuses who ever lived. Fully 95% of children tested between the ages of 3 and 5 test out as highly creative. The same children tested again as teenagers test out as about 5% highly creative. What happened to them in the interim? Well, as they went through school, they were taught that If you want to get along, you go along. They learn not to challenge the teacher or to suggest unusual ideas. In their attempts to be liked and accepted by their peers, they allowed their creativity to die down, like a fire without fuel. The good news is that creativity is a natural and normal ability, possessed in quantity by virtually everyone. It is inborn, a part of your genetic structure, a faculty that is uniquely human. Everyone is creative. Fully 95% of the population has the ability to function at exceptional, if not genius levels, given the right situation and circumstances. But your creativity is like a muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it. Just like a muscle, if you don't exercise your creativity and stretch it regularly, it becomes weak and ineffective. Your ability to generate ideas must be constantly utilized to be kept in top condition. Fortunately, at any time, you can begin tapping into your creativity and using it at a higher level. You can actually begin activating more neurons and dendrites in your brain, creating more and more connections and interconnections. Each time you use more of your existing brain power, you become even more capable of thinking better and with greater clarity. Today, we are in the information age. For the rest of your life, ideas will be the major source of new wealth. Ideas contain the keys to solving every problem. They are the most important tools for achieving any goals. And since your ability to generate new ideas is largely unlimited, your ability to achieve any goal you set for yourself is unlimited as well. All wealth comes from adding value, from producing more, better, cheaper, faster, and easier than someone else. One good idea for adding value for others is all you need to start a fortune. When you have clear goals written and rewritten, visualized and emotionalized, you trigger your conscious, subconscious, and superconscious minds into generating a continuous flow of ideas for goal attainment. There's no problem that you cannot solve, no obstacle you cannot overcome, and no goal that you cannot achieve by tapping into your creative mind exactly as it is today. You have far more intelligence and mental potential right now than you could ever use, even if you lived 100 years. Just because you have not accessed all of your mental powers up until now does not mean that you cannot begin using them from this day forward. Physical fitness and mental fitness are very similar in some respects. If you want to become physically fit, you have to work out and engage in physical exercise. If you want to build physical muscles, you must pump iron and drive new blood into your muscles by straining them with dumbbells or barbells. The more stress you put on your muscles, the stronger they become over time. Your mind is very similar. In order to build your mental muscles, you have to pump mental iron. You have to put stress and strain on your brain, concentrating all of your mental energies to generate ideas and solutions and to solve problems on the way to your goals. The most powerful technique for improving your intelligence and increasing your creativity is what I call mindstorming. The way it works is simple. The results that you get will be so amazing as to be life-changing. You begin the mindstorming process by first getting a clean sheet of paper. At the top of this page, you write your goal or problem in the form of a question. The simpler and more specific the question, the better will be the quality of the answers that you generate in answer to it. For example, instead of writing a question like, "How can I make more money?" you would write, "How can I double my income in the next 24 months?" Even better, if you are earning $50,000 per year today, your question should be, "How can I earn $100,000 per year by December 31 of a specific year?" Each of your answers should be written using the 3P formula. It should be personal, positive, and in the present tense. In other words, your answers should be written as affirmations or instructions from your conscious mind to your subconscious mind. Often you will write down answers on this sheet and promptly forget them. Then, sometime later, as a result of superconscious functioning, you will attract into your life an opportunity to put one of your answers into action. Once you've written your question at the top of the page, You then discipline yourself to generate at least 20 answers to that question. You can write down more than 20 answers to the question, but it is essential in this exercise that you set a goal for a minimum of 20. Your first 3 to 5 answers will be easy. You will quickly come up with answers like work harder, start earlier and stay later, work on higher value tasks, and so on. Your next 5 answers will be more difficult. You'll have to drill down and dig deeper to come up with less obvious ways but more creative ways to answer your question. Your last 10 answers will be the most difficult of all. Many people find this part of the exercise so difficult that their minds actually go blank. Their eyes glaze over. They become lightheaded with the rush of blood to their brains that takes place when you begin this process of pumping mental iron. However, no matter how long it takes, especially the first few times you practice this exercise, you must discipline yourself to keep writing until you have at least 20 answers. Sometimes the 20th answer that you generate will be the breakthrough answer that enables you to save yourself thousands of dollars and many hours of hard work. Often your last answer is the inspired idea that changes your life and career. Once you have at least 20 answers, go back over your list and review your answers. Then, select at least one action that you can take immediately to begin moving yourself more rapidly toward your goal or toward solving the problem. You can actually multiply the effectiveness of this process by taking the very best answer that you identified in the first list of 20 and writing it at the top of a fresh sheet of paper in the form of a new question. Then, see if you cannot generate 20 answers to that question as well. This combination exercise will rev you up mentally like stepping on the accelerator of a car when the transmission is in neutral. Your mind will sparkle and dance with mental energy and bristle with ideas like the bright lights of a Christmas tree. For example, your first question could be, how can I double my income to $100,000 over the next 24 months? One of your answers could be, I work 2 extra hours each day. You could then transfer this answer to a new sheet of paper and phrase it as a question. What can I do to get 2 extra hours of productive time each day? You can then begin writing 20 different things that you can do to save time, gain time, and spend 2 additional hours on productive work each day. Whatever answer you choose, put it into action immediately. Do something, do anything. The faster you take action on this exercise, the greater and more continuous will be the flow of ideas as you go throughout the day. If you generate these ideas and then do nothing with them, the creative flow will slow down and stop. The very best time to do this exercise is first thing in the morning, right after you have rewritten your goals in your spiral notebook. Each morning you can take one goal, rewrite it as a question, and then generate 20 answers to that question. You can then immediately get busy and implement one of your answers. You can perform this exercise repeatedly on the same goal if the goal is big enough and important enough to you. Don't worry about writing down the same answers over and over again. The more you practice this exercise, the more likely it is that you will trigger completely unexpected breakthrough ideas. This may require several days or even weeks of work before the flash of inspiration takes place. You must be patient and determined. It will come. Imagine that you were to perform this exercise every morning before you started out, 5 days per week. You can take the weekends off to relax your brain if you like. If you did this exercise 5 days per week, you would generate 100 ideas each week. If you practice this exercise 50 weeks per year, you would generate 5,000 ideas over the course of the next 12 months. And you don't even have to think on your 2-week vacation. If you were then to implement one new idea each day to help you to move faster toward your goals, that would work out to 1 idea per day, multiplied times 5 days per week, multiplied times 50 weeks per year. This would amount to 250 new ideas per year that you would implement to improve your life. Now here's a question. Do you think that this exercise, conducted regularly, would have an impact on your life and future? In a world where the average person has very few ideas at all during the year, do you think that this exercise would give you an edge in your field? Do you think that if you did this every day, you would soon become wealthy and successful in anything to which you applied yourself?